Hello guys, this is Sushant. So we meet again with our mechanical section, that is first year engineering mechanics. In this chapter, as the name suggests, it is analysis of the forces which will be present in space. So it's basically the analysis of a three-dimensional force system. Now forces in space will be dealing with three-dimensional force system. That means while considering your forces, you have to analyze the length, breadth and the height of whatever object or the position of the force which is present. In the earlier analysis, that is in the coplanar forces, which we were dealing with the forces which were present in a single plane. That means that the forces basically were only restricted to a two-dimensional or a 2D figure, in which either we were considering the width or the height or the width or the breadth of that particular object. So let us go and understand this particular topic. The prerequisites of this particular topic is you have to understand what are forces and what are the requirement of the forces. You can just check out our video on coplanar forces, in which we have discussed about the forces, the definition of the forces and what are the various parameters which are required to define any force. So just go and check it out if you have missed that particular video. The prerequisites of this particular chapter is you require the understanding of forces, you also require the understanding of vectors and also the algebra of vectors, that is how to add vectors, how to subtract vectors and what are the different products of vectors, that is dot product and cross product. So let's begin with understanding of the geometry of any 3D object. Now while understanding the geometry of a 3D object, you require to understand that your space will be denoted by three axes. Now these three axes are nothing but your x, y and z. So let us consider this axis as my x, this one is my y and this one is my z. Now whenever I have to denote a point in my space, I require three coordinates of that point. That means if I am considering any point P over here, it has to be denoted by these three coordinates, that is my x, y and z. Now if I just want to indicate what is going to be my vector along OP, that is from origin to the point P, then that vector is given by OP bar is nothing but xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So over here my OP bar is nothing but xi, where I is a unit vector along the x-axis, my yj where j is my unit vector along the y-axis, and my zk where k is the unit vector along the z-axis. Now let me consider another point which is present in this space, which is having the coordinate x1, y1 and z1, and I want to find what is going to be the vector given by PQ bar. Now my PQ bar will nothing but be equal to OQ bar minus OP bar. My OQ, as the earlier discussion, will be having the values x1i plus y1j plus z1k. This thing minus my OP, which we had discussed, it was xi plus yj plus zk. So this becomes a representation of the vector PQ. Now let us understand how to represent a unit vector. Now taking this same example, I want to denote what would be the unit vector along my PQ. So my unit vector along my PQ can be given by a cap, a PQ cap. So the cap basically means that I want to find a unit vector along this line. Now my PQ cap will be nothing but x1 minus x I plus y1 minus y j plus z1 minus zk. that is it's PQ, and divide by the magnitude of a vector. Now to recollect, the magnitude of a vector is given by nothing but the individual terms of my I square plus the term with my j square and the term for my k square. So you are just taking the coefficient of I, j and k and squaring them and adding them and finding the root of it. So it can be denoted by PQ bar divided by the magnitude of the vector along PQ. So once you know this particular thing, we can move forward with how to find various forces in space. Now, whenever we have to go for the analysis of the forces, we require three things: the magnitude, the direction, and point of application of that force. Now, whenever you have to indicate a force in your space, you require it to be indicated using your ijk terms. That means you require the use of your unit vectors along the x, y and z. So let us consider this particular diagram again. Now if I want to find what is going to be the vector notation of this force, that means the vector notation will give you not only the magnitude but it will also give you the direction along with it. So your F bar along the point PQ will be nothing but the magnitude of the force. Over here I am indicating the magnitude by just a capital F. That thing into the unit vector along my PQ. Now once we have understood how to indicate my forces in space, we can go and move on to a term which is called as component of the forces along my IJK. Now component of the forces along the IJK is the same concept which we have studied in my coplanar forces. So let us consider that this is my force which is represented by a magnitude F. It is making an angle theta x with the x axis, theta z with the z axis and theta y with the y axis. So if I want to find what is the component of this particular force along the x or the y or the z, it would be given by Fx equals the magnitude of the force into the cos of the angle. That is, it was making a theta x with the x axis. Similarly, my Fy will be nothing but magnitude of the force into the cos of theta y, that is the angle with the y axis, and my Fz will be nothing but the magnitude of force into cos of theta z. So if I want to represent this particular force in my IJK terms, it would be nothing but my force F bar will be equal to Fx I cap plus Fy j cap plus Fz k cap. Now there is a relation of the angle, that is theta x, theta y and theta z, which you might recollect from your 3D geometry, which is given by your cos square theta x plus cos square theta y plus cos square theta z, which is given as 1. Let us consider the first question. In this we have this particular tower which is held by a wire at this particular point. Now while analyzing the problem, what you have to do is you have to consider the point coordinate of the points along which my force is going to interact. I have named this particular point as A, this particular point as B. I need to find what is going to be the coordinate of A. Now my A point is lying along the xy plane, so it is going to have a 0 as its z coordinate. To find the x coordinate, you require to go for the x and the distance of the x. So that's going to be a 40 over here. And then for the y coordinate, you require to understand that y is in this direction and the distance is given behind it. So basically it's going to be a minus 30. Now I want to find what is going to be your vector f along AB. So that is going to be nothing but the magnitude of the vector. So So the magnitude is given as 2500 into the unit vector along AB. So unit vector along AB can be written as AB cap, or it is also written as like this. So let us find what is going to be the value. So my F is given as 2500 into the unit vector along AB, which will be nothing but your B minus A. So that's going to be a minus 40I plus 30J plus 80K divided by a 40 square plus 30 square plus 80 square under root. So after solving, you will get the values as this particular set of values. Next, you have to find what are the angles. So to find the angles, you can use simply these set of equations, that is your fx is going to be equal to f into cos theta x. So you can just find what is going to be your cos theta x. So that is going to be just nothing but fx upon f. So if you take the cos inverse of this, you will get your theta x. So your theta x will be nothing but cos inverse of your fx upon f. So you will get the value from here. To get your theta y, you will use this particular equation, that is cos inverse of fy upon f, and theta z you will get it as cos inverse of fz upon f. So your values for theta x will be 115, for theta y it's 71, and for theta z it's going to be 32 degrees. So this is how you find the vector along your x, y, z and the angles of that particular vector. In the next question, they have given these particular quantities, that is the theta y, theta z and your fx. Fx means the component along the x-axis. You have to find the other components of this forces, the magnitude of the force and the angle, that is the third angle which the force is making with the coordinate axis. Now, to begin with, we require to find what is going to be my theta x. To do so, what we will be using is my cos square theta y plus cos square theta z plus cos square theta x is 1. I know the value of my theta y, I know the value of my theta z. So let us just substitute those values and let us find what is going to be my cos square theta x. So my cos square theta x will be nothing but 1 minus cos square, my theta y is 65 minus cos square 40. So once you calculate that particular equation, you will be getting your value as 0.23, of which you will be taking the square root, and since you are taking a square root, you will be getting a plus minus of that. Once you take the cos inverse of the plus and the minus, you will be getting two values, that is the two angles. Now you have to only consider one of this, so you have to go for this particular information. The information given to us is that my x, that is the x component, is having a negative magnitude, that is it is along the negative x-axis. Now if it has to be negative x-axis, along the negative x-axis, then the angle which it should make with the x-axis, that is a positive x-axis, it should be more than 90 degrees. So that is why we have to go for this and we have to ignore this angle. So my theta x will be nothing but equal to 118.97 degrees. Now if I want to find what is going to be the magnitude, I can use this particular equation, that is fx equals f cos theta x, from where I will be able to find what is the magnitude of the force. So my magnitude of the force will be fx, which is minus 750 divided by cos theta x. From this you will be getting the value as 1551 Newton. Over here, just a pointer to be made. You are calculating your magnitude, so the value of magnitude cannot be negative. So in case if you just forget that you have to take a plus minus and you just took a plus from here, that is you are taking just 0.4843, as the value for your cos theta, and you're finding the theta x for it, and you will be getting this particular answer, that is 61.03. So while calculation over here, you will be getting the value as minus only. So that should click in your brain that you cannot get a magnitude as negative. So you can just go back and check what is being wrong. So just going forward, so you have calculated your magnitude of your force. Next you can calculate your Fy using F cos theta y and your Fz using F cos theta z. In the next week, we will be discussing about the formula for calculation of the moment of a force along a point or along a line in a 3D space. So for that, please stay tuned. And if you are new for this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Please share it with your friends, like the video, and comment below for what videos which we can do. Your likes and comments will help us make more videos on this particular topic and other related engineering subjects. So till then, see you, take care, keep learning, keep watching, and happy learning. Bye.